And the first item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Does anyone have any comment or question on any item that's not on the agenda? Great, fantastic. Absent that, we'll move to our agenda, and the first item of new business is 100 Ridgeway.
All right, there's.
Is it just you?
Nope. The applicants are right there.
Okay, gotcha. When I say just you, it wasn't meant to say you.
Oh.
You're plenty. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys all set?
Yes.
So we'll do the standard rotation. We'll give you guys time on it. We take maybe 10 or 15 minutes or less? Okay, great. And then we'll hit you with some clarifying questions and turn to our experts. We have experts tonight?
They are coming tonight. Yep, there's Dave.
Okay, great.
Kim might be running a little behind.
Okay. And then we'll turn it to the audience and then back to us.
Okay. I don't have a tripod, so I'm gonna have to
Oh, you want to help
You
with
want
the
the
chair?
You might
Yeah.
have to chair, yeah, that's what
There we go.
I'm saying.
There you go.
Right.
Thank you, Tina.
We're like a high-tech startup here. We've got all the
Yeah,
latest equipment. Not.
so,
That has to be a loss. Go ahead.
okay. I'm Karen Sebastian, I'm here for 100 Ridgeway.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Good evening.
And we are, we're requesting to expand a terrace that is on the property. The property had been before planning board for Scenic Road and last year. So the property's finished, it's been sold, and the current owners would like to build an outdoor kitchen. And so what I wanted to show you was what was originally approved. And this is 100 Ridgeway. Ridgeway Road is up here. Here's the house. This was the approved driveway coming in. This is the area that we're talking about changing. So this is the approved terrace. The built terrace is actually smaller than the approved one. So I have a small, the same size plan. It's kind of showing you what the changes are that we are proposing. So here is the terrace, the new proposed terrace. We're also doing some increased planting along the buffer between the two properties. It's mostly shrubs and perennials, just to add some color and add some density to the planting between the two properties. And then also in this area here, there's a swale that it has the surface drainage comes through here, and there's a swale, and so it's kind of a little dip, and the children's play set is over here. And so in order to create some more defined space and division between the large lawn and play area, we're doing a pinch planting there and doing some native wetland plants. It's going to help it's going to keep the swale in the same slope that it is in, but it's also going to help to absorb some of the water that's going down there. And the plants that are in there are things like Tupelo, Ilex verticillata, which is winterberry, blueberries, things that are native and will be fun for the kids too. And then we're also putting in some boulder steps that will allow the water to flow, but will make it fun to, if there is water in there, to hop across. So it's kind of add to the structure there. So to enlarge and show you what a better view of what the differences are.
Can you pull this forward so some of the light, sort of the shadow is spot like that? No, there you go.
Better?
Yep.
Oops. So this is the terrace that was approved, and that terrace had 1,417 square feet of hard surface all along in here. This is the terrace that was built, and that terrace has 890 square feet. And then this is what we're proposing here. So what we're proposing is to kind of expand a little bit beyond the area that was here and build a built-in kitchen down in this area, a seat wall over here with a fire pit area. So this area is covered. This would be the cooking and conversation area, and then this fire pit area. So that's, and then this would be all planted up. Kim asked me to not label the shrubs there because she didn't want to have to take care of those, but we're introducing a Cornus Cusa here, and then some large shrubs in the area as well. And there's one other thing with this, is that and I don't have this on the plan because I didn't think of it until later, but I can get it to you, the information to you, is we like to have some lighting in the wall. The current lumens approved on the project are 10,800, I believe. There's some lighting that did not go in, so where we are below 10,000, we're like 8,000, or, yeah, 8,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, and then if we want to add some of those little puck lights just in the wall around the fire pit area and on the steps that step down, and they add up to like 700 lumens. So we're still below the original approved, which is a pretty low lumen. Two other things that we'd like to do is, one, we'd like to put a trench drain across the driveway right here. I don't know who was on the sidewalk. It would only be to connect, it's gonna collect the same water that's coming down the driveway, but it's just gonna catch it before it gets into the parking area and by the front door, and direct it right into the catch basin that's in the lawn, and just take that water and put it into the drainage system.
Do you have that on the plan?
Hmm?
Do you have that on the plan?
Yeah, it's on plan. And then the other thing that we'd like to do, the client is interested, she loves the scenic road, she's been living in London in the city, she's really happy to be out in the country, and she loves what it looks like there. And all her neighbors have stone walls along the road, and so she would like to put in a stone wall that's similar to those stone walls, nothing with any mortar in it or anything. You know, she really loves this one that's next door and this one across the street. So I've put that on the plan as well, and it would be inside the property line, and just kind of, if there's a tree, weave it around the tree, and just to make it look like it's always been there.
Bonus points.
Bonus points.
Ding, 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 ding.
So that's our,
We love that she likes receiving.
Right.
and then,
Wood stone walls.
yeah.
Want to stop for questions for a minute? Anybody here?
Yeah, or-
So, is there a
You think
plan
I
we can
covered
take a
it?
look at, or is that something that someone else is going to propose? Or show us the drainage plan that has a trench drain where it goes?
Oh, so it's just, I'm just adding it, let's see, where is it? The board that has it on it. Sorry, it's here. It's just right across here.
Which way is it directing
So
the water?
There would be it would catch the water coming down the hill that was flowing anyway, that was going towards this drain, and catch it and just have a pipe that goes right into that drain.
Well, when
So that
we'll talk when
catch basin.
Dave wants to talk about it. Okay, good, thank you.
Anything else to present? Anything else to present? That's good, great. Steve, question?
I was on the sidewalk, and
Okay.
this is a minimal impact, because if you take a look at the
Yeah,
front
good.
yard, you can see
Right.
that
That was
there's
my
actually a
question.
big difference. I mean, this big lawn area before you
Yeah.
get to their border line, and it's minimal impact. The original plan had a far greater impact than this one's going to have.
Yeah.
Where's the nearest neighbor? Can you just pull out your first?
So
Yes.
there's
Here's
Orchard Ave back here,
Right,
another house is over here, and then this one is uphill.
okay. And the lights you wanted, or?
The lights are those little, I have a cut sheet for it.
Okay.
They're those little round lights that
Down.
shine
Okay,
down,
gotcha.
and they're 33 lumens each. I mean, they're not. Yeah.
And they'll be facing in towards the
Yeah, they'll be,
terrace on that curved wall.
yeah, so
section.
they'd be like in here, this low, just to give a little glow.
Got it.
Are we gonna be hearing from Dave?
Yeah,
or
Dave?
Before we talk, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's no more impervious than was permitted. They did,
Right.
the project itself was fairly, I pulled like the old, like the last, I don't know if you remember, but this was subsequently peer reviewed by another engineer, so we went through a couple different
Oh.
rounds.
Right,
And
many
very
rounds.
conservative
Double.
assumptions were made on like anything that was like a variable. So it's a fairly conservative, and they're also like already increasing it by like 9 to like 17%, like depending on what storm you're looking at. The trench drain's not gonna change any sort of flow pattern, where they're showing it, just
Yeah.
that area was meant to go to the right, they just wanna cap, well, my right, left, looking at the house. So they're just catching it, putting it over there, you know, just to make sure it gets to where it's going. That was about,
All in consideration.
that was,
There's a little bit of land movement, not an issue, boulders, et cetera.
no, that's all fine, you know, it's just, we, again, when this one was being built, we went out, so you had mentioned, right? So I went back and I was
John side
looking,
was very
so that was,
concerned.
like 2 years ago, and then this, we gave them the C of O like a year ago, but prior to that, we were going out, like in the summer, we were going out like this time, in the rain, to make sure the water was going where it was going, and it's been fun.
It's finally working.
Yeah, yeah, so that, it's been like a couple year progress, so when you said that at the site walk, I didn't know if it was something had been since then or what, but,
I just remembered all the trouble that they had with the giant
Yeah.
ponds in front of the garage when things were.
Yeah, so that's
way
to like
I wanna
the-
be very sure it doesn't happen again.
I think it's the Joneses, the people to the
It is,
right,
it is.
like, the water during construction was running, like,
Well, because it,
yeah, across the land and then down to the
Yeah.
back.
It was a mess.
and now there's a hump at the end of
Yeah.
the driveway that keeps that water flowing down the street,
I
because
just
it
wanna
did
be
come in and,
Just wanna be sure, you know,
Yeah.
twice bit, 3 times shy.
yeah.
We do have letters of support for this from the Joneses
Mhm.
and from 119.
Huge,
Yes.
yeah. Kim, I see you hiding back there.
Yeah, no, it's great. The patio space, as you know, is smaller than what was previously. And they're actually augmenting the buffer even more with some understory, which is gonna be a great improvement.
Right. I didn't quite understand, you asked her not to name the species? Or
Just around the patio,
you want some
we
flexibility?
typically don't ask for foundation plantings, that
Too
level
much
of
detail.
specificity, because then they're,
Well, then they're beholding
To
to
that
always having that
species.
exact species,
I see.
and there's no
Yeah.
reason to do that to somebody.
Understood. Okay, any comments from neighbors? Fantastic.
So that I do have, like Eric said, there were letters submitted in support, one from the Joneses, which I'm gonna pull up here.
Letter of
actually.
support?
Yeah, they're very short, you know, we're writing to express our support for the Gooch family's proposed outdoor kitchen project at 100 Ridgeway Road. We're also writing to ask the planning board to help them with continued issues relating to the construction of their house. I don't know what those are, but
Does the applicant know what to speak of? Okay. All right.
and then we
Seems
have.
pretty general statement.
Yeah.
Not a lot I can do with that. I'd like to-
And this is from 119 Orchard, which, Jen, do you want to read yours, or should I read it for
you
you?
can read it, that's fine.
Okay, this is, I live at 119 Orchard Avenue, and my property directly abuts 100 Ridgeway. For more, our property, we have a direct view of the back patio area and the proposed expansion. I am ready to express our support of the application for approval for an outdoor kitchen and additional patio space at 100 Ridgeway, particularly given that the hard surface area of the new proposal is less than what was originally proposed. I see no problems that will cause regarding drainage in this area. Furthermore, the design is consistent with the original architecture of the house.
Great, and she's invited over for the barbecues as
Yeah.
well.
And then we have one more, this one I got today, this is from Maggie Taylor at 115 Orchard. She, if you recall, has the property where they drain into the, she shares the dry well across
Yes.
across of
This is what you were talking about.
Orchard,
No,
yeah.
I was actually talking about the huge, the.
Yeah, so,
part of it.
hers is a bit longer, which is why I printed it out, but, basically
Did
she's.
Dave see this yet?
Yeah,
Yeah, I gave this to Dave, I gave it to Eric, I did get,
So what's the essence of this?
the essence from this is she wants to make sure that the dry well has been inspected per the, per the conditions, so.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah, before COA, it was inspected, we did get the they ran the camera through the pipes as was required.
Yeah,
They inspected it, they put the new lid on, and yeah, I recall all of that with Jay. After that, I believe Jay has told me, he emailed me just before the meeting,
so
said,
this says every 6 months.
yeah, so he said it's been, he knows it's been inspected prior, but since it's changed ownership, I don't know what's happened, and that's
Who's
what I would ask.
responsible for inspecting?
Applicant.
That's the question, we asked that last time.
So,
Who's responsible for inspecting it?
the owner is responsible for contracting a professional to inspect it.
Okay, and is to report that to us, or how do they? how
They don't
does that
have to
work?
report it to us, but they do have to keep logs on it, as I
Okay,
understand it,
got
that's
it.
what the O&M plan calls for.
We did talk about this last time, about that should be put on the deed restriction, so it's clear that.
Was this in fact included?
Well, I think we talked about putting it on the conditions by an inspected by an independent contractor, is what we said, like,
But paid by the owner, I mean, who's gonna
Yeah,
pay for it?
yeah.
They-
yeah.
And they need to, whether that goes then, we talked about it to, John Fields or not.
And I think she's right, I mean, she'd like to know if it exists, this logbook, and where it will be housed, and so that.
So the
people
applicants
in
are
public
usually responsible for keeping that, right, Dave? As a-
Yeah, because
Yeah.
years ago, we made some inspection requirements, reports to be turned in. It was yearly, it was actually done a subdivision, and they get turned in to like the ether. Like I've been having them come to me for like 20 years. Like it was like no one in town keeps track of it.
I see.
There's no mechanism to have it. So when we do have these, we've kind of made the conditions like, which is what you do with a lot of O&M stuff is like keep it on record and available on demand from the
Oh, I
town.
see, that's a good one.
Well, actually,
Is that what the decision
town
before
hall.
said?
That's what,
Make it
yeah,
available to town?
is it, well, that's
The
what
owner
the
keeps it
O&M
on.
that
said.
gets tricky, I think.
Yeah.
That gets tricky, because for instance, it's easy to say, when was the last time you inspected? Oh, I'll get back to you. Oh, I'm sure I had it done. Oh, I'll get you the information, in time
But
goes by.
they're required to give us a log when we demand it. is the
But
point.
at the same point, for it to get to that level, I think it's onerous. I think there should be a mechanism somehow that there is an inspection report or log somewhere in town. I don't have the answer for how. but it
Oh, in
shouldn't
our
have to go-
possession versus their
Yeah,
possession.
it shouldn't have to go through a neighbor, because if you and the neighbor aren't seeing eye to eye, it can get dicey.
Well, the neighbor comes to the town and the town demands it. That's what goes on now. That's the
And what you're
Yeah.
saying is we don't actually get it, 'cause it's sticking on your desk,
Yeah.
understandably why.
You'd have about 500 of these right now, because this is a
Yeah.
standard condition on every one that goes through.
So the town enforces is the viewing of that log,
It just says that,
basically.
this one's a little bit more strict, and there's some other ones that are strict and more specific. Generally, it just says it needs to be inspected yearly. Well, it depends on
6
what
months.
6 months or a year, depends on what it actually
This
is.
one says 6 months,
A couple of them which have been with extra scrutiny, we tell them to keep the log and to keep the records of it,
Right,
and
yeah.
that they're available on demand. But there's, because it happened with like one of the subdivisions, right, whatever, it doesn't matter which one, it's right down by, the pike. And it comes in, and I know it goes like nowhere, it doesn't go into like the file,
Right, and then you'll never find it.
Yeah.
And then you gotta find out who did it, when they did it, and everything else. It's a lost dog right now, and I understand why. I think we should give it a home.
okay.
I don't know
Is it
where, but-
To resolve on this matter or some other
Well,
time?
they're probably in compliance, well, I can't speak, but not providing the reports to the town doesn't make them out of compliance, because that's not in that condition, right?
I'm gonna propose that this be a topic at a future planning board meeting on how to handle this kind of
Right.
thing.
Okay, but I also
That's
suggest
not a
that
part of the amendment.
this inspection, which has specifically been brought up by an abutter,
Yeah,
be
right,
answered, and that basically the owner
right.
proved to us that the inspection has happened within the required time.
I think
Well,
that's
Jay
right.
said in his email when the last time it was inspected,
He said he doesn't know what's happened since,
but that was since July or something, right?
So we
Since
need a
she's-
paper stating that.
Yeah, exactly, it's a dangling participle, exactly.
Yeah.
Dangling thing, nobody really knows.
That's definitely subsequent to, it's less than a year.
Jay's letter says the last inspection was done in July of 2019.
Yeah.
That's from Jay.
And that's
Okay, so I'm gonna
Let's listen
ask
to
her,
Where
two
the
things.
results of
So the
that.
log?
First of all,
Yeah.
report back to
Yeah.
her the log, so
Okay.
that she knows. And second of all, put this general topic on a planning board upcoming meeting.
Well,
Okay.
To say, do we have a better process?
well, let us talk to, the DPW first, cause it might be something that we can,
It's something, it could be a different topic, a different.
well, it could be like,
Yeah, you could do it.
they could do it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, so.
Cause they have their own
Well,
stormwater
the
requirements.
DPW is coming here the next meeting, so. If we
Yeah.
make that topic the next meeting, that's great.
Okay.
That'd be perfect. Okay, her second point, we better wait through, second point of the letter.
You mean about the basement being flooded?
Yes, exactly.
So,
That's something that needs to be addressed?
I mean, I don't see what we can do beyond what we've already done for the basement.
So
She asked, will the additional landscape change these calculations? The answer is
No,
no, great,
Yeah,
Because the house was never built out with the house, it
Right.
wasn't,
yeah.
right.
and they haven't come up to that level.
Increase noise, so I think that's
Increased noise abatements
right,
consideration.
because of using a patio, so.
Can you show up some of the plans, Karen, where the,
Yes, not-
There's no entertainment
right.
system or.
So.
As long as they're not about
patio-
40 feet big, right?
Sorry, patio's here.
the children?
yeah,
no,
and
Their
then
house is
Marcy's.
somewhere over there,
yeah.
I don't have them.
Maggie's
Yeah, I know,
here.
I'm just kidding, that's a joke.
So I don't know.
I'll tell you,
Find
right,
jokes.
when I'm holding a pen in this hand, I'm joking.
She's, and there's planting,
She's
There's
to the
kind of-
right and up, kinda up
yeah,
a little bit.
Everything's done within the setbacks.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we've addressed.
There's a house this isn't where the house is, it's still showing the old,
Normally talk about.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
it's still showing the old building that was there, but the house is about here. And then this is the abutter who wrote the letter here. So
Pretty far.
119 is between
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah,
All right, so I think we've adequately addressed
Okay.
concerns or discussed them. Any other thoughts from the members here? Everybody okay?
yeah. Love the idea of the
Okay,
stone
great.
wall.
Okay.
Okay, we're moving
Yeah,
along.
great.
Do you guys wanna
Oh, I
approve
do
this?
love the idea. Come on.
Do you wanna approve this with a memo that I just write and send out, or do you wanna look at a memo next meeting?
You can just send it to us and we could probably approve it individually that way. I don't see it as a big deal.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
do you wanna vote on this thing right now?
Hold the meeting.
So, yeah, if we're gonna do a memo and everybody's just gonna look at it and add their comments, as long as it's not outside the topic, you know, then yeah, then we
Okay.
would vote on it right now.
Great, so do I hear a proposal here?
Proposal
Someone
to
move.
approve those site plan amendments on 100 Ridge Way, as we've discussed tonight. It will be
Second.
put forth in amendment.
Second?
I second, no, I'm sorry, I
Okay.
second.
All approve?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous? Thanks, guys.
Okay.
all right, thank you so much.
Congrats on the snow wall.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a
Wonderful.
nice
Can't
idea on
wait.
her part.
37 Chiltern, patio and generator.
Okay, we have the.
want me to chat about it?
Yeah, well, actually, you know, why don't I start this one up, because it has a little bit of history to it.
You gonna tee it up?
Yeah. I'm gonna
Tee it up.
I'm gonna tee it up.
Great.
So, this is a site plan approval that was granted a while ago, I think in 2014, correct me if I'm wrong, George.
original one was 2009.
Okay, so it was
Wow.
2009, and then it went through a subsequent amendment. The latest request that they gave to us was for a generator, which is right here. But then going out onto the site, there's a couple of things I noticed that I also wanted the board to take a look at, and, you know, needed to at least be cleaned up with an approval. One is this additional patio space that's been installed here, and then there's been some landscaping work that has gone on here.
All the work's already done.
This is already done, and this is already done. The generator is not in
The
yet.
generator pads.
The generator
That
pad
was
is
the
there.
board.
Yeah,
There's no generator pads.
no yeah, exactly. So this is what that area in the back where the new plantings looks like. So you can see it's taken pretty well. It looks pretty good. The sizable trees are still there. These guys, these hemlocks here, or is those hemlocks? Whatever. And this is the new patio area here.
Do you know what they are?
Where this? I'm guessing. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
See, I didn't have, remember, I was
Yeah,
there,
that's right, you were
I
there.
was there and gone.
You're there now. So yeah, there's just a better view of the additional patio space, and this is the generator
So
pad.
this, I'm a little confused.
Yep.
Yes. Why are you showing us this?
Oh, just to get a context of what it looks like.
Oh, this is the present state.
Yeah, this is the present state, yep.
Okay.
And is that in conformance with previously approved findings, approvals?
No.
How
Oh,
much does
this
it
is-
exceed it?
So they built it, now they're asking for permission? Okay.
Correct. Okay.
And how much does it exceed it?
How much is the square footage of the space, George? Do you know?
Well, no, I asked the engineer to figure that out. There were puts and takes because on the, see the big patio there to the right? To the left, we had a patio where that existing, it's easier for me to hold.
Here, if you want to use the laser, you
Yeah, I
can.
don't know if that's, yeah. So this is part of the original house, this patio. So, and we were gonna add, there was a patio space here that when the landscape architect looked at it, he didn't like the balance, so he reduced this fairly substantially, but I think this is obviously bigger than what he reduced this by. And we added this with just an outdoor grill. All this was just, as Imai said, pretty much just additional screening because there happens to be a big old shed behind us that we were trying to hide. And our neighbors actually let us access the land from their property because they wanted the buffering as well. And these are all, to answer your question, hemlock, spruce, and arborvitae, baby green giants. The reason we didn't, this might be an oversight, when we got our site approval, we never provided the backyard plan, and the approval was granted.
2009, is that what I heard?
Yeah, and then subsequently, so we never showed you a plan.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
never on an.
Yeah,
so
so
I
it's-
wasn't born
Yeah,
then.
okay.
Kind of fell through the cracks,
Yeah.
but it's.
That's why it was so hard to find record on this. It just wasn't, that's why it didn't exist.
Yeah, so it-
2009 was a rough year.
So how can we say that it compares with the specified
Well,
plan?
does
if we
it
don't
have
the
anything
specified
written
plan?
down,
Right.
because it probably has something written as far as hard surface.
Right, so we had an engineer who.
Yeah, they provided an updated engineering calculation of, what's,
What's the impervious?
what the,
So how does it compare, the area?
so,
It's like slightly more, but there's still no increase from pre-existing conditions
Oh, I see.
So
You
we,
mean before it was built?
before it was built. Yeah.
Okay.
and we removed, as I said, we removed
Oh, okay.
stuff here, and then there was an extra like parking area back there which we took out. But
All
to
right.
their point, I think it's.
So Dave, do you have any concerns about this? or-
No, I mean, it's all there, it's fine, it's not,
Right. What happened, what about the generator? Where'd you end up there?
the generator, well, that's what they're asking for right now,
Yeah, right,
is the
okay.
generator.
Where is the next house on that side?
Yeah, exactly.
The next house on this side,
Because I find the generators, even at the 40 decibels, it's quite loud. Generators are actually noisier, as you know, than.
It's
Yeah,
right at the
it's-
property line.
no, it's in the setback.
it's in the
Oh, it's
setback.
in the setback?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the line you're seeing is like the clearing line, and then there's
Oh,
a
okay.
setback line, and the
Yeah.
property line's
I
beyond
thought
it.
it was in the neighbor's house.
That neighbor actually did come on this, did talk to us at the sidewalk.
All right, good.
Oh, yeah.
So can you point it out on the?
So this neighbor came over at the sidewalk, so
Okay.
he's gonna be the closest one affected.
Right, right.
And
This
where
is the
it?
subject property,
Yeah, and it's going to be where?
Ish,
about here.
okay.
So it's in the middle of their, I thought I saw tree screening when you showed us a picture of the pad.
There's
It
tree
does have
screening
screening.
between
Yeah,
the
it's
two.
screened.
Okay, so it's not, okay,
No.
all right.
The plantings around this house are really well cared for. He doesn't have a
Well,
picture of
that's
the
it.
inside, I mean, the streetscape plantings, but they're pretty remarkable.
Got it.
They've done very well.
So we, with,
Do it all myself.
Well, congratulations, because you do a nice job.
So-
Everybody's winning bonus points tonight.
when we submitted the permit application, I think you requested, the noise reduction, so
Yep.
that was 40 decibels. So there's gonna be a solid board fence around the
You gonna buffer
generator.
the noise?
as well as sound blankets inside. And I think the only thing our neighbor asked for was that it be a foot higher than the
Yeah,
top.
that's what we have to
We need
clarify.
do that, yeah.
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 Great.
Okay, if you're, and then do we test this when that goes off to make sure?
No, we don't regularly go and test the
But I mean,
generators.
no, but in something like this as a installation.
So, no, we usually just
Okay.
rely on the specification, we don't go out there and do a noise
Okay.
test. Usually, I mean, if it came to that, I think it would be based on like a complaint from a neighbor, and then we could go on and enforce it. If they're hitting 40, well, then they're okay. If they're above it, then they have to do something else.
Okay,
Simmer
but
down.
you are doing all the standard noise abatement, which is great,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's pretty close to your house, so I'm sure
You know,
you'd like to have, not
Yeah.
have
so,
sound like 100 decibels outside
you know,
your
when the
window.
power goes out, you hear generators all over our neighborhood. I don't know if there's any way to get around that, but, yeah, we're doing everything that was asked for.
Any comments from neighbors? You guys got any further questions?
Dave, so how do you know that the drainage system is adequate for the additional patio space?
It's, if you looked at the picture of like that he put up of the additional patio, it's probably, the additional impervious is probably a half to a third of what you see in that patio, which is like a parking spot of a car. And then there's just, because of other impervious that was not built or removed from the site around, so it, you know, it's,
But doesn't it also matter where on the property that impervious space is and where the drainage system is? and
It,
the
it does,
drains
but
and-
the generally the calculations are fairly conservative, and this is pretty de minimis.
But-
Although I hate to use that word,
Yeah.
but it's not, you know, they did provide an engineer, you know, letter from it, you know, to spend I believe in my professional opinion, doing it for 25 years, it would be fine.
Okay, so it's just because I don't think there was any hardscape plan for that part of the site. There was? Okay. Because when he was pointing to the plan, it was the other side where it was planned, I thought, so.
You're still in the back. It's just a-
Yeah, to the other side
Yeah.
where the parking space was.
Okay,
Can we also, since we didn't have one in the original, site plan
Permit,
approval
yeah.
permit, can we now register this one as the standing one for the property?
The plan, the new
The one-
plan?
The new ones we have now.
Yeah,
is this-
memorialize this as the
is
baseline.
Exactly,
Yes.
thank you, yeah.
We have
Okay.
a plan.
So we will
So
have
it
an
goes into
as-built.
So 5 years or 2 years from now, we won't go, we still don't have a site plan.
Yeah, we do, that's gonna go into the record, yes.
Great.
Kim, did you have thoughts? You equally as impressed as Sue?
You can't see anything on the
Okay.
property on this lot.
Did you think she did a good job with her landscaping?
Outstanding
You have a new
care
career
for
you
those
know about.
things.
2-0, 2-0, just to let you know. Okay, I think we're done, are we?
Yeah.
We'll do the same sort of thing?
Same, I would do, say the
Okay,
same
great.
thing, we'll do a memo on this one?
Yep.
Great.
Wow.
I move, we do it, that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I move that we approve the 37 Chilton changes with the added patio area and generator as shown on drawings and already installed, and that we make further changes to it, and I will issue a memo you'll all approve
Wow,
with comments.
yeah.
second.
Very good.
All
Aye.
approved?
Aye.
I,
Unanimous. Okay, 3
Okay.
Pigeon Hill.
Alright, I'm out of here.
Alright,
Look, we don't have a
All right,
planning
see you
board
guys.
meeting.
All right, we'll see you, Dave.
Pigeon Hill,
Yeah.
Pigeon Hill area.
oh yeah, I should,
It's now officially a planning board meeting.
Are there any other?
See you later.
She's playing peekaboo back there.
No, she's wearing red, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna have a discussion by.
applicants are,
Oh,
no,
the applicants are here?
the
Yeah, I can talk about
applicants are
it.
here, Dana's
Yeah.
handled this
We're
one.
here from.
So there's
Dana.
2 trees on the property that are in question about their health.
Okay, got
They went to go get an arborist letter.
it, okay.
on- They hired John Marquis Tree Service as a private arborist, and
Okay,
he agreed
gotcha.
that the trees are in decline.
She said they're in decline, can you put that up again? You had it last.
Are these in?
What are the operative words? I haven't
They're
seen
all
this.
declined.
Well, trees are
Altogether
in
in
severe
decline.
state of decline.
Severe state of decline,
And they talk about the ash decline as
dropping
disease.
dead large limbs.
What, yeah, what variety, what species of
Ash.
trees are they? Are they both ash?
Yes.
Have they found
Is this
any
in the
ash
budget?
borer, or what have they found?
No,
I can't read, it says, the
Okay.
trees are questioned, can you read that, please, Dana?
Yeah, why don't you read it? I can barely see
We
it.
don't need his name,
The
but.
trees are in question are very large white ash trees. Both trees are in severe state of decline and have been dropping large dead limbs. White ash in Massachusetts suffers from a disease called ash decline. In fact, most mature ash trees in Massachusetts have killed off over the last 30 years.
All right.
Dead and died.
Yeah,
I think it's real.
but does he say that's what these have, or did,
Most.
has he checked for this,
Hey,
or has
do
he
the
checked
math.
for the board, for the emerald borer?
I'm not sure what he did. But
Okay.
the thing that is,
Keep reading, keep reading.
okay.
Yeah.
Dead and dying ash trees tend to decay quickly and begin shedding large limbs due to proximity to the road in the state of decline. I informed Emily that it's my opinion that the trees create a hazard to the public
Oh,
and should be
okay.
removed.
Okay.
So Alicia actually attended the site walk and she had questions on if we should trust this letter since it's a private arborist.
I see. Did
I
Kim
don't know if
go?
that's a question.
Did you have?
I'm not an arborist.
Right.
But I had suggested, since Lucia was concerned, that maybe the town's arborist could take a look as well.
Right.
But that said, I mean, from my limited knowledge of trees.
I haven't had a lot of differing opinions from arborists about healthy trees.
No, I mean,
Have you?
ash trees are, a problematic species right now.
Right,
and
you agree with
this
his
is
first
pretty
statements,
common.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna diagnose the tree, but
No, I understand.
it's not uncommon to see this.
Right. Is the applicant here? Oh, okay. Did you have anything that you wanted?
Well, so I actually had John Markey come up because we had some large limbs falling down on the trees. And at the base, you can see that there's a large amount of rot. So I had him come out and he said that basically these trees aren't gonna make it through the winter and if
This
they.
is your arborist saying this?
Yeah,
Okay.
and if they do fall, they're actually right in the direct line of our house and where we sleep.
Oh, I see.
So,
And you don't
He
want
does-
to
And
change
they're falling
bedrooms.
dead limbs?
yeah, they are. We're actually really
Okay.
sad to be getting rid
Understood.
of these trees. We don't want to because you can't see in this picture, but there's actually another ash tree that's still healthy.
Right. Are we replacing any of the
So-
trees?
Yeah, they have a.
I'd like to,
Oh, okay. All right,
absolutely.
let's,
I wish he had said in his letter, because your comment about the decay at the bottom is very telling.
yeah.
Yes.
I wish he had said that, because that would be a lot more
More
strength to
convincing.
the letter as to
Yeah.
what the concern is. And he also says in his letter, could, where you're saying they are. Again, wish he'd put that in his letter. I also would hope that he would have checked for, I think it's emerald ash.
So
Would he
there,
help you with that?
there've been emerald ash borers found in our neighborhood. We have not seen one
Okay,
specifically.
did he check here, do you know?
He checked just peripherally, he didn't see any. I'm not sure how
Okay.
you actually check for them, but I know that one of our neighbors did have emerald ash
All right.
borers.
So the replacement tree?
There's a red maple tree of a 3 and a 3.5 inch caliber.
Okay.
And you want to take down both, even though one's dead, but your fear for the other one, is that the idea?
He said both were in decline, actually.
Yeah, you just,
I originally approached him about the one, and when he was doing the site walk,
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, well, what about this one? This one's in similar state."
do you believe that's,
I do because we've been having the branches fall into
they've
our
also been
yard.
falling. At one
Yeah.
point, I thought you said it seems healthy, that's why I'm asking. The other one said it seemed healthy.
Oh no.
No, it didn't, okay, then I misheard.
No.
They're both there, look like they're dropping, they both
They're
dropping
both
limbs.
dropping
Okay, all
limbs. Yeah. See, there's just not the evident dead
right. Rod at the bottom.
rot at the bottom.
Okay, all right.
Any other thoughts, Steve, Sue?
No.
Okay. So, and Alicia had recommended that we have the town arborist look at it?
Alicia had, well, I'll let Dana speak to that.
Yeah, she asked
Right.
if we should trust the private arborists
Right.
because they have some economic gain from it, but unless that's a
Right.
concern for you.
I haven't seen a lot of different opinions from arborists about decaying trees at this level.
Especially not with ashes
I'm not in it.
typically.
And so there's rod at the bottom.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah.
usually very telling.
And I know John Markey, he's an upright
Right.
guy, so.
Sounds like a good guy.
And they're dropping limbs, so it's pretty evident.
Right,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay, So do we want to make a decision here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
move that we approve the removal of these two dying ash trees
And the replacement?
and replacements.
Any
That's
second?
proposed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Is that good? Okay,
Right, thank you.
ready to move on? 15 Evergreen?
All right, so I didn't attend the last meeting.
This is great, we removed 2 trees and now we hear about 15 Evergreen.
So last meeting,
Isn't that funny?
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to be hearing about Oak Street.
That's pretty good. Okay.
so for 15 Evergreen, the last meeting,
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
I didn't attend. The applicant
The
wanted
applicant
to
here?
have a finished attic with
Oh, the applicant
with
here?
skylights.
Oh, okay.
For
Oh, this took a
administrative
twist, this
approval,
took
that
a
would have to
twist,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, so instead of the skylights, he's asking if it can be administrative approval, just the finished attic without any exterior impact.
Oh, so we would prefer not to go through a whole hearing on the skylights and.
He's
just
looking
do
at
the
time
opposite.
crunch about finishing the back of his house.
Okay,
I didn't
understood.
understand half of it, but it's something
Okay.
about, he was like, screw the skylights, if we can at least get this done, a lot, like, a time and order.
I
So
see.
there's no fenestration at all? Is this a regular gable, end-to-end gable?
Why don't you bring up a
No windows
picture
at either
of-
end?
The plans and the.
Yeah, exactly.
So all the work is interior.
Yeah, I think that's.
So this is the finished by the attic he's talking about.
Right, so those were,
White turns to white.
yes, and so at the gable ends, what about the windows in the gable?
There's no windows. So the windows were proposed, there was like 6 skylit windows in the
So it's
backside.
just going to be a completely, no dormer,
Yeah.
Right.
even
all
in the
interior.
But
rear?
he may
For
be coming
administrative
back.
approval, if he wants to come back to us for the
Right.
windows.
For a dormer, okay, so
Yeah,
he's
we
just
don't-
doing, yeah, all right, well,
Can
fine.
we, okay, can we just go back for a little bit?
But you do say add skylights here, by the way, that's just a typo.
Oh, you know, that's, I think that's a carryover from the last,
Okay, yeah.
from the last time we had it.
Sorry, I interrupted, I didn't mean to.
So
And
So do we even have something to do about this?
I'd like to point out a couple things if we could.
Finish the attic.
The original square footage on this is what, please? The original oversized
So it is
large house?
originally 5,876 square feet.
5,800 and what?
76 square feet.
And that was a large house, qualified as large house?
It is because it's 10% of the lot, so it's already through site plan review.
Right, okay, I know, but I, give it,
No, of course.
do this for a minute.
So then the attic would be an additional 850 square feet,
Square.
giving us a total of 6,726.
Okay, what does the basement look like?
The basement is all under grade.
Yeah, and what, is it occupied or not occupied?
It is
or what does it
unfinished.
show? It's not finished.
And it's under the 6 feet of under grade, whatever the
Right,
qualifications
but
that.
do
you
they
can't
have
see
do
it.
they have a plan for the basement?
Well, just use the elevation, so it's under grade.
Okay, so
And I
we don't,
have a plan.
okay, there is no plan, so whether that's being used as, theater or,
So here's the basement floor.
okay, the stairs must go down there, so that's not.
Yeah, there must be. I can't read what that says, but there must be a staircase.
So but that wouldn't count anyway, because it's on
No,
the
but
grade.
I think what this starts to go back to is that, you know, as we've talked about before, a lot of these houses have unfinished basements and attics, and later on they go in and they fill it out.
Mhm.
And although this one already qualifies as a large house, it really goes back to the idea that these are finishable spaces. And as long as they're not, you know, head knockers, they're going to be finished out sooner or later.
But do they count in our calculations?
Well, that's a question for the future.
It's
I
only an
think-
issue when the house did not go through site plan review previously, and this is putting it
Right,
over.
I'm just using this as an example in the future. We might
She's
discuss.
learning, she's saying, oh, well, let's learn that this happens.
Right, and this is something you guys have already learned in previous things, where
Right, yeah.
basically things get added in the future, whether they tip over or they don't tip over. There are spaces which probably should be counted, that aren't counted right now. So I just hold this up as an example of such a issue where if there are full stairs going up to an attic, and just because it's unfinished now, it doesn't mean in the future it won't be. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, in future large house calculations, I think we should be considering attics that aren't finished but have full stairs, or basements that have full heights that can be used, whether or not we go back
Who
to grade.
determines that?
So I think it's,
John.
again, a
That's
future.
a John thing.
Yeah, but I think it's a future discussion we need to have, because we continue to see this.
Okay. Put
And
it-
it's based on the bylaw. It
I-
is
Right.
based on the bylaw. You know,
Yeah.
story above grade is
Right.
It is, there's bylaw criteria for it,
I
you know.
see.
I
It's
mean,
not
that
just
that was
John's
all
opinion.
recently,
No.
like 10 years ago.
But-
already.
But he does the interpretation, you know, he checks the
Consideration
RGFA
to
that
look at
it's,
again.
Okay, put
Matches.
it on the
I
list
don't
of
see the
long-term
issue
things to
unless you
consider.
Okay.
go through site plan review before.
Any questions from the audience on this or comments?
I mean, I have some concerns about counting basement space if it's below, more than 50% below grade, but I don't
Oh, I
have.
just mean on this amendment.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, not on.
No, that's fine.
That's good. Okay. Steve, Sue?
No, but it's just interesting to have a finished attic with absolute, I mean,
Yeah,
I wonder if
that'd
that's
be
even
tight.
legal to have.
well, it can't be
living
habitable space
with-
without the,
Right.
How can it be
I think what he
habitable without
wants
a
to do-
window?
Does he
That's
know
how you
this?
make
But that's.
He wants to be able to bring
Go
materials up
basement
there
on
through the
window.
back while he's finishing the back of the
What are you
house.
gonna do? Ping pong table? or-
It's actually an exercise room.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's
But I think the back of his house is actually unfinished from the original site plan review. So I think he wants to bring materials up through the back part of the house, so then maybe he applies for the windows to be put in later in the process.
right.
To the back part of
This
the
is
house.
a two-phase plan.
Yeah, so like the back of the house is actually not entirely finished. So he wants to bring in materials, I
You
believe.
mean it doesn't have a roof?
It has a roof, but it's easier, otherwise he has to bring all the materials
Oh,
up
well,
to the
well,
front
well,
door.
When
remember
was this,
exactly
when was
everything
this
you said.
house built? Like last year?
2017 or 18.
Oh, so it's new,
Yeah.
it's really a brand new one. Oh, and it's not finished.
Yeah,
So
the thing's
it's,
still open.
it's not occupied?
It's occupied, but I believe that they're still kind of tinkering with certain
They have an
parts of it.
open back.
It's not an open back. I saw a picture, there might be
They
actually.
have a tarp there, what do you want?
Right, they have a big dog.
They have a big dog and a tarp.
Let me see if I can get a picture of it.
So this is just
But
interesting.
this went through site plan review, correct?
Yes. Yeah, but actually, we saw it as an amendment.
Do you have a picture of the house from the back?
I'm trying to
Is
get
that
a
what
picture.
you're doing?
It might be in the,
Looks pretty
folder.
finished.
Back, yeah.
Well, that's the other house.
Hey, you need to have a picture
That'd be-
from the rear of the back of the house.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something about how the phasing was going on that he needed to get it
Yeah, that's what it is.
approved before. And he was unwilling to wait until our next meeting to get the windows.
On a record pace here, Dana. You're slowing us
I
down.
had it before.
That's all right. Okay, you guys want to move to a decision here? What do you think?
Oh, here, I can get it.
Steve and Sue, you want to move to a decision? Okay,
I don't know why that was, I thought there was some, alright, whatever.
Well,
So that won't be a decision, that's
Okay.
for it to be administrative approval,
great. Okay.
that's what our discussion is. So then he can conduct and finish his.
We don't have to
act.
vote on administrative.
no, so,
Okay, great.
yeah,
That's
that's,
It's basically like, we're just asking if that can be administrative approval.
Okay, fantastic. Ready to move on?
if so, yeah, if
Okay.
you guys are all in agreement, we're ready to move on.
So let's make all the decisions that we have to make tonight. Oh, look,
Next.
next.
great. What's the easiest thing? The warrant review is like,
Trying to pull it up for you.
the other stuff easier?
So the warrant review, no, what I would suggest we do is, well, which order do you wanna go in, easier or harder first?
Easy, like an SAT test.
Okay, so yeah, let's go through the warrant review.
That's easy? Okay.
Yeah, cause I think, you know, we're
Okay,
basically.
so the idea is, we wanted to, in the future, just walk through the warrant and be prepared if we get asked comments on
Correct,
any of these items that don't directly involve the planning board.
correct.
What's the planning board's opinion? I'd rather not be caught flat-footed
Mhm.
as a group, so. Can we just walk through it? Article one?
Water line improvements, fire department, anything,
I don't think we'll be asked.
I don't think we'll be asked.
Okay,
Appropriate for historical surveys, historical commission, documentation of historical properties.
I don't think we'll be
So,
asked.
yeah,
No.
Great.
emergency mental health response.
Now that will be asked. Okay, I don't think we'll be asked that.
Appropriate for water tank study,
That might be interesting.
yeah, so
What's
this is gonna be, this would eventually come to basically replacement of our existing water tanks.
You mean by the, on Cat Rock or?
Those
by-
Oh,
huge-
those ones, yeah, the Cat Rock, there's another one, Paynes Hill, I think has
Oh,
one
they
as well.
just lived their life?
They've lived their life, but the other thing too is the latest study that they did on the infrastructure shows that although there is capacity, the height of them is such that when they get drained, they don't have enough pressure anymore. So if they raise them, more pressure into the system. They don't have
So
to
they're
get
gonna
bigger,
make
but they
them
have to get
taller?
higher.
Oh, okay.
So
But
they're-
that's what they're gonna, that's what this study would, that's what the infrastructure indicates, so this is the next step
It's
in
the
that.
momentum going down, huh?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Never thought about tanks that way. Okay, I don't think anybody's asked us questions about that.
Okay,
Well,
Plan-
they
Go ahead.
could, I mean, if they're
Oh,
gonna
they
do
get
like
too
this
high.
tower, like, so you see out in Ohio, where they have to get the pressure because it's so flat.
yeah, they get the big ones, yeah, like.
Up on the, you know.
Well,
How
it's like
high are
Gilbert
these
Creek.
going?
I don't know how high they have to go to make
I
them.
asked for a jump, they said how high.
Yeah, I think that's, I would actually guess that this is one of the things that this study is aimed to answer.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a
Okay,
study.
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, they won't, they, you know, whatever,
So
I
is there
would-
water use going up? I'm just a little curious. Why is it an issue at all?
it's an issue at all. I think really what spurred this on is the, what was it, 2016 or 2017 summer when the tanks ran dry,
Oh,
when the
right.
drought.
Just-
Oh, the big
okay.
drought.
So firefighting capacity is one of
Okay,
these
got it.
things, but
Okay, got it. All right.
But by talking about raising them instead of adding new ones?
yes.
Both.
Well, I think that's what the study's gonna indicate. that-
Hopefully it's both, that's what I would.
Yeah,
ask
the
for.
current condition is such that when the tanks start running low, the pressure isn't sufficient. Capacity is sufficient, but the pressure isn't.
Right. Okay,
So by
fine.
adding, sorry, but so
Go
by adding more tanks, that's not gonna help you?
I don't know. That I
That's what the study's about.
that I can't.
I'm just making sure that they do that as well.
Okay,
Because in some areas, it'll be better to add another one rather than go higher.
rather than go higher. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's you know they took a look at our system, you know,
Okay.
saw what was deficient and are
Well,
now
anybody
acting
can
on it.
participate in the study.
Okay. Recreational use to plant the rail trail buffer. We got asked about that?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff which I guess Paul Penny was working on because of who planted what and who was supposed to take care of it and who's gonna take care of the new stuff.
And the timing of the planting.
Right,
Were
and
we
I
gonna
guess-
put it in July so it could all die?
Yeah, and apparently it was put in by, PCR, and it was only part of it, it wasn't all over, so there's a whole bunch of information which I believe Paul Penny is going to present at the town. I don't know if we can get, if we want to weigh in on this, I would ask that he send it to us so we can look at it, or present it to us so we have a better understanding before we weigh in on this. Penfield, not Penn, sorry.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He did, at CPC, he was pretty clear on the fact that this was not buffer planting. That this was not to be construed in any way, shape, form, or manner as like blockage so that
Right.
people from the trail could see,
Right.
or that the homeowners would be blocked from.
But I think this goes to they're asking for money and the last stuff died, why?
Right.
Let's not throw good
Right.
money over bad,
But
you
that
know.
was exactly the point.
So that's the information I think we need here. 'Cause I'd like to be behind this,
Well, the thing that I think is, a lot of it has to be appropriate for the site,
yeah. And
and
somebody's gotta water it for the first 2 years.
right, so the appropriate for the site, our landscape architect would do a quick review.
That's a
of
good
it
answer.
And just let that happen, but I
But-
don't know about the rest.
But yeah, but I mean, I believe Paul has done this information, so if he can forward that to us, take and give us 10 minutes at the next meeting during public comments or something.
Well, our next meeting isn't till the 11th, after
It's
town
after.
meeting.
Okay, then maybe he can just forward us, I don't know. This is, there's a lot of information in here that we don't have.
I would prefer not to get too much down in the weeds on this.
But I don't want to support it unless I have a better understanding.
Well, you,
I don't think we'll
You're
be
not
asked to
asking-
if you're not
support it.
asking,
All
yeah,
right,
They're
okay.
not gonna say what
Okay,
is
so
support,
if
yeah.
someone turns to the planning board, what opinion, our opinion will be, we don't have enough, we didn't have enough.
Enough
We didn't
information
discuss
at the time.
this,
We
really.
didn't discuss it.
We didn't
We
discuss
also
it.
didn't have the information.
okay,
Understood, that's good, that's good answer.
okay.
Yeah.
Detail officers, don't think we'll be asked about that.
No,
Maybe we should be. I think we should weigh in on that.
Change Board of Selectmen to Select Board.
Yeah, go for it.
Article 8, we will discuss what we're gonna talk about that with separately, that's ours.
let's just talk about it now.
You wanna talk about it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leslie raised her hand and said she would like to.
Nice try.
Well,
But
I
seriously,
said I will, if you want.
I'm
to,
nominating
I'll do it.
Leslie to make the presentation on that. Is that okay with you guys? Anybody else wanna raise their hand to do
I'm not gonna be here.
Oh, yeah, he's not gonna be here.
that? Okay,
Right.
so I think it's a pretty straightforward thing, and I thought it would be a good first argument.
If I
for
come down
making
with
the
flu, I'll
planning board
nominate Sue.
And, right,
Okay,
yes,
good.
I'm very willing to do it if Leslie, if you
All right,
wanna
I'll take
change your
I'll
mind.
take a crack at it,
I
I'll
think
run
it's a
it past you,
5-minute
Mike,
presentation.
and Tony, and see if it's all right, and
Okay.
we'll go from there.
So just
This is
FYI,
a little
this is a
creation,
closing
yeah,
the
this is a
loophole.
little closure.
It's a little geometry lesson, is really all it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How
So-
many, I was curious, how many intersections are affected? Did you ever add that up, or have we?
not the intersections, I counted the properties, it's 100.
Oh, it's 100.
As I recall,
Even-
that's 100 now.
Even given the fact that it happens after such and such date.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
to nominate, well, I mean, it would be properties that could do it.
yeah,
Right,
exactly. It's
right.
like if they've split up before, it doesn't go back and then.
Yeah, you don't cost you.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, so yeah, we got,
Right.
I have that map, we have the the poster child property we can use if you wanna do
Right,
presentation,
right,
so
right.
I can work with Leslie on getting something
That
up.
would be
Yeah.
super.
They have to get up, we have to get it in before December 1st.
Okay.
So my
What is
sense
that?
is just like 30 seconds on what's the scenic road bylaw, just to remind people, they might not know it. And then, I think underscoring the support that we got, that,
At the last town vote.
the bylaw got at the last town vote, exactly. And then the geometry here, that's fine.
Sure.
And then I think it should be clear that this isn't some wild imagination at work here. Someone actually tried to do
Predicated.
it.
Somebody actually, yeah.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Predicated, so we're
Right,
closing, we're
exactly.
closing the loophole.
closing a loophole.
Okay?
That's my sense of the,
And when you say
I
that it
I
has
think
to
it's
be
a
in,
good
when you say it has to be in by December 1st, you mean the presentation has to be in?
Slides, yeah, if we wanna do slides, have to be in by
Alright.
December 1st.
All right.
And then we just have to let, let the moderator know well, we're gonna be presenting this, so.
All
yeah,
right, and if I chicken out, you get to do it.
Oh, by you mean Tony.
yeah.
All
I'll
right,
do it.
okay. I'll see if I can.
I've been asked by other town officials that we do our own presentations. Go ahead.
I just have a process question. Did we have public meetings on this one? Or
We did.
did
Yes,
you
we
need
did.
them?
Yes.
Okay, was I here? in
That's
this?
okay.
Every once
Yeah,
in a while.
actually, you've known from your family was filming, I think, that night.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
outside, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
But if you decide
Yeah, no,
not to do it,
it's
tell me, give me a
ahead of time,
time.
sure, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's
'Cause I'll be
probably.
down, I'm away, why not?
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
so you want Skype in?
Over.
No, but I need to know,
I
like,
hear
in the
you.
next couple of days is all
All
I'm
right,
saying.
Pass
I'll
it
put
over.
somebody together.
For our purposes, we're going
Because
to
I'll
pass.
prepare for it before I leave, I don't wanna be
I
preparing for it when I'm
I
gone.
more than understand that.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's probably as good if we all pull our weight,
yeah.
instead of
Okay.
making you do it all.
For the purposes of this meeting, we're going past 9 and 10.
Great.
Yeah,
Historic resources for JST construction.
yeah.
You think we'll get asked about that?
I think there's a good chance.
Yeah, we have. We've gone through it through site plan approval. We've
Right.
supported the plan. We supported the plan to CPC.
Yeah.
In fact, probably our CPC statement is a good template to
Yeah,
work
right,
off of.
okay. So why don't you bring that to the
Okay.
meeting?
Right, and it would be
And that'd be
nice,
something we could just read.
yeah, it'd be nice to stand in support of it.
Fact is,
Yeah.
if we ask, why don't you tap them on the shoulder and say, would you like us?
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
good,
Right, so we can be proactive about it.
yeah,
And Sue, do you wanna?
sure.
Okay. Sue would read that.
Okay. Okay. Great.
And then they'll say, are you sure? And I'll say, yeah, we're sure.
Community choice
Are
aggregation.
you all on board with this? All of you? The 5 of you?
What's
I
that?
know, we're-
That's basic. I think that's where you can be allowed to choose your electrical power.
Yeah, this is,
Oh, yes.
They're not
Yeah.
asking.
Well, it's a little
Katharina?
different than that.
Yeah.
It's
And the whole
basically
town
just-
gets to,
Yeah.
we leverage our purchasing power and
Yeah.
Sourcing.
it could be more green, you can dial
Yeah,
green.
but basically, the town votes that everybody will turn to this greener choice. If you don't want to do it, then you have to make
Opt
an
out.
effort.
We'll
And
talk
opt
about,
out.
okay.
It's opt-out,
It's
yeah.
an opt-out instead
So
of an
this is,
opt-in.
this is agreeing on
I only
opt-in.
want electricity.
Right.
Okay.
And you can, they're going in at the minimal green, and you can go up the green, or you can opt out.
And there's no downside to this, as far as I can tell, is there, for any resident?
It's so
Well,
hard to read
you
this.
know,
It doesn't get more expensive, or?
we don't know that because the rates fluctuate yearly, I mean, month to month with Eversource. And so you
Okay.
can't really tell till the very end, but historically, it's been, if it's anything, it's been really minimal,
Okay,
but you can't promise ahead.
oh, because this varies more than the standard?
It does vary,
Okay, got it,
I
okay.
keep going.
but they will be locking into a certain rate.
Okay, so I don't think we'll be asked our opinion on that.
Civil
If we
fingerprinting,
are
this is a
before.
police matter, so I don't think we're gonna get asked about that.
Oh, I didn't know that, I'll look at
And that is the warrant.
Wow.
Did you guys, excuse me, did you guys go to the Route 30 stuff and I missed that?
No,
No.
It's next.
Oh.
we did not.
But it's-
No, no, we're just
Oh,
on
I'm
the
sorry, I
warrant.
thought that was on the, my mistake.
No, we're following.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay, President's for Article 8, we nailed. Route 30.
Route 30, okay, so here's what I am asking the board here in the case of Route 30 is,
You're asking.
yes.
You're the petitioner?
In this case, I kind of am, because in talking with Tom and following this project, this is
Tom Cullen.
Tom Cullen, yes, correct. This is in design right now with DPW. They plan to submit this for transportation infrastructure funding, for TIP funding from the state. This was just reviewed last night, the latest plan with traffic and sidewalk. It's gonna go before the selectmen at an upcoming meeting, I don't know when. But basically, the idea here is it's a Route 30 reconstruction. As part of this reconstruction, this is what I am specifically interested in and think the board should take an interest in, is they are proposing a shared use path as part of it. So that would be separated, wider sidewalk that can be used by pedestrians and bicyclists alike.
Both sides or one side?
One side. And here, I can show you on their, this is what the section looks like, so.
Can I get up there and look, because I can't swing?
Yes, you can.
Or you can give us more information, or,
What's that?
I just wanted, is more information on a piece of paper, or?
I don't have it on a piece of paper, no, I just went with slides here.
So how wide is the sidewalk in the tree zones, or is that just?
10-foot sidewalk, variable buffer width, 40 feet is the total width.
These are standards
How wide
from
is the
state.
rail trail one?
Rail trail, I think, is 10.
So it's that wide.
Yeah.
So is this land taking, or is this all on town?
It's all gonna be in the town right of way.
All town
Yeah,
right of
all
way?
town right of
way. 30 would be narrow.
No land taking?
No land
How
taking.
about stone walls and trees?
So stone walls and trees, I don't know, but stone walls and trees on a numbered route, we don't have jurisdiction over.
Right, but if it's town right of way, we don't want to give them away.
So, no, we don't wanna give them away, but, so,
I think the idea is great, but I worry making just a sweeping comment without taking a look and see how it lays out and where our areas of concern are.
okay.
Yeah, that's a fair.
I agree, because sometimes when we sort of advocate
It's
full
gone.
control to the DPW or the state, it is gone.
Forever
Forever
Yep,
and ever.
and ever.
You need that
And it's
extra ever?
eternal
yes.
and infinite.
And wicked
To infinity and beyond.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
So,
hey, the other question I had was, this is the beginning of a network somehow, or
Yeah.
where would someone ride to if you made bike?
So
lanes?
this
That's my
is where
Yeah, right.
it would end. This is the tricky part to get through, but they are
Did a
looking at
miracle
it.
occurs?
Yeah.
Did you get-
No, actually, this is being looked at as part of, it's just went under a road safety audit as part of the Riverside reconstruction, the Riverside Station reconstruction.
Okay, got it.
And so we
So
went
there are
out to
plans
that.
there.
going
Yeah.
past
I know you
Boston
can't build everything at once, but network plan.
There is a network plan.
Okay.
This area is
Thank
also.
you.
Thank you.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey,
We were wondering why it's
you
put
must be
so
in
much.
media.
This area is being planned as part of the whole landline effort through MAPC.
Okay.
You know, if you head into Auburndale there's that like kind of side road that's like a little
Mhm.
frontage side road. That's where
It's
they
the
want to
old
put.
carriage path.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's called. Carrot.
So this could go
That's where they
to
want to
Auburn.
finish,
Yeah,
that's where they want to do what?
that's where they want to
Complete
put in the bike path
network,
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So someone can bike to Auburndale Station.
Yeah, so it would be connected to Auburndale Station, and the Solomon Foundation is looking at a way to put paths along the Charles River and connect over to Riverside as well.
Yeah.
So it would be part of a network.
Nice.
This is why I think it's important, is
This
because,
is where it gets exciting when things start to get connected.
yeah, so it's not just a path there,
Right, yeah.
but it's a path that can connect, and it's a path that can eventually lead to mode shift.
I think
Okay.
the intent is great. I just want to make sure, as Sue says, we don't give away babies in bathwater, that there's a lot of detail that goes in here, and it shouldn't be a blanket approval, and it shouldn't be just, yeah, go for it. And we
Okay.
have to look
Because
at
that's when we
Is
get
there
our
any
biggest
plan to
stars.
continue
Yes,
it in
exactly,
Wayland?
and nobody's happy.
And nobody's happy.
No, I don't think there's a plan to continue it to Wayland as I know of.
Win
And also, I want to know
casino
where the
visit?
utilities go. I mean,
Into
are
what?
the utilities
It
going to
says
stay inbound or
Win
outbound?
casino visit?
No, into Wayland.
So Imai, what would you like?
Oh, we had a Massachusetts Planning Director to go see when it was under construction. Not when it's now.
Okay.
We didn't get to go see it and get a gamble now.
Imai, what would you like to do with it?
So I have a draft letter that I'd like
A
the board
letter.
to take a look at.
Which you sent to us already.
Yeah,
Yes, it's scanned it.
that's what I would like to take a look at, and if we need to add language about being careful about stones and trees.
No, we
and-
need to be a little bit more, sorry. I think we can.
Do you need to do this tonight?
No. No, we don't need to do it
But do you
tonight.
need to do it will it be
What's the
okay for the
deadline
next
for this?
meeting, or?
We can do it at the next meeting.
Sure? We
Yeah,
want
because
to
I
do
mean,
some.
I
the
think
next
Leslie
selectmen's
wants to
meeting I know
chew
is
on it.
12:10, and I know it's not on the agenda for then.
Okay.
I think Leslie and Sue want to chew on this a little bit.
Okay.
Is what I'm hearing.
Fair enough.
So why don't we let them take a crack? I want you guys
Alright.
to take responsibility
Okay.
for it.
So you want to take the first crack, or you want me to?
Well, I'm just, as I look at it, it's all in total support, and it says it's gonna be wonderful. There's no real description of what this is, what
Right.
it looks like, how it would
Yeah.
lay on Route 30.
Or
Right.
what
To our
what
town.
we're looking at for
So
documents.
I think you can express that in the letter.
Yeah.
Just say we'd
Okay.
like to see that, whatever you're talking about.
Is this
Tell them
big?
we
And then we'd like to be
approve the intent.
sensitive.
We-
We'd
Yeah,
like to
the
be
intent
The
was
letter?
just like,
No, not the letter,
yeah,
the
we
plan.
like the intent.
The plan has been
Yeah.
at
Which
traffic
is
and
sensitive
sidewalk.
to
and
the
it's been
So
standards
devils
for
in
it,
the details, and we
Yeah.
need the
And it's
details.
gonna go
We'd
before,
like to be sensitive
town
to the
meeting
standards
or-
and
No,
criteria of the
no, not
town.
Tommy, they've already had funding for this. It's
And
gonna
we
go
want
to,
complete oversight.
it's gonna go to the for this.
Not.
So
Comment
when's it gonna be
on it.
We wanna
presented to
be
the
the
town,
boss.
the
Right.
If you want to be
details?
also, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Do you want to take we can do that, or you just want to try to?
No, so you
They've
want to write,
already-
and then I'll take whatever you've
Well,
got.
all right, so let's.
They've already.
You can just do it right now.
They've already had
Well, I'd
public
like to
hearings
keep,
at
Okay.
I'm
traffic and
sorry, it's been a
sidewalk.
long day.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
So
so they're
anything
gonna work
else?
together and
Okay.
present an option at the next meeting.
So
But-
Fair
it
enough.
sounds to me, just talking now to Imai, that there are already detailed plans for this.
No, there are detailed plans, I asked for them. I don't believe
There
there's
are not?
detailed plans for this yet.
Okay,
So I think they've gone through it with, traffic and sidewalk and they've,
So we'd like to see a process for producing and reviewing detailed plans,
okay.
right?
And we'd like to see whatever they got. If that's what they got, I'd like to see it for real.
So-
Like a real
We
plan,
don't-
like a
Okay.
real section.
We don't have jurisdiction over it to begin with.
No.
We understand,
No,
but nonetheless, we'd like to see it.
Okay.
And we'd also like to caution the selectmen, if they go ahead with it, these are the things that they should be concerned about.
okay,
Do we want to write that in this letter?
Good,
Good answer.
absolutely.
probably you
But
do.
I do think in general, we should be in support of this.
Totally.
Yes, well, that's
Um,
what we're going up, we're in,
With conditions.
yes, in
Yes,
support,
with-
however,
However,
Yeah.
there are
don't screw it up.
questions to be answered.
There's a balancing act.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And to do with.
In general, we're in support, and there's just a balancing
And
act.
what
we
did you
wanna be.
say, in compliance with?
Yeah.
Please, you
And so
said-
reason I bring this up is because too, is to not just let it run, is there are neighbors abutting this path who are
Not
opposed
like
to
it.
specifically the shared use path
Right,
coming in.
and we should take a look and
Because-
see how that affects things.
Oh, they're worried about bicycles coming by?
No, they lose.
I think they're worried about
Widening
Route
it.
30 in general
Which I
getting
understand.
bigger.
Yeah, and I can understand that, and, I mean, I'd like to know what's happening with lighting, what's happening with utilities.
But there is
that'll
benefit
stay.
that they have a bike path right in there.
I think so,
There's a
but
balance.
they may feel differently about
Right.
that.
I don't think, yeah,
Well, let's take a look, because again, we have no details to make any decisions on.
yeah.
It's a great idea, absolutely.
Yes.
So we'd like to add a step, again,
Okay,
and sensitivity.
okay.
Okay, next,
Next, I believe is town planner report.
is the town planner here?
Yay.
I am here.
How is the
Oh.
town planner?
I am
here?
here.
Easily enough.
Is it not loyal?
So is Dana, he's also here.
Is the assistant town planner?
Two town
He's
planners.
very good.
Better than one.
Pretty
Okay.
amazing recovery.
So, yeah.
Really,
Like
just
here,
don't
Turkey.
collapse.
Bravo.
Did you know
Yeah. Well, the
everybody's
night's
getting-
not over yet, I may collapse
Yeah.
yet.
Do you know the
I
whole,
get down and that's why I wanna
the
get
US
out
gets
here.
together on my birthday this year?
When's your birthday?
Is it 28?
Is it the 28th?
It's the 28th?
Oh,
Nice.
Everybody.
Are you gonna survive this?
Turkey.
Yeah.
Wow, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Last year, the whole of the US got together on my birthday,
Which,
Really?
which.
July.
22nd.
Oh, I
Thanksgiving
know.
Day was my birthday.
Ah,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, happy birthday very soon.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, you're just a Sag then?
Wait a
Yeah.
second,
You're on
isn't
the
that
cusp.
also the date of Kennedy's?
Yes.
well, you are special.
Yeah, don't, he doesn't need to know that.
No, I was
He
getting you that
wasn't
already.
born, it's not just history to him, you know.
What year were you born?
Can I
75.
ask those
Okay.
questions?
Yeah, you're not supposed to ask us.
Yeah, really.
Well, yeah.
I'm fine. Okay, so we know special town meeting is coming up on the 3rd. Our next meeting is on the 11th. The night before that, I think I sent this out, I have three of you I know can come to the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen.
You sent an invite out for that?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
When did you send that?
I just sent it today after.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it, what's that for?
You sent that a while ago, right? That's for the
I
December
sent an
10th one.
email a while ago, and then I just, now that I've confirmed that we can do it, just sent in a calendar invite
What
for
is
it.
it, I'm sorry, I don't recall, what is it?
It's for the, it's to review the historical water usage, so we had, as part of the water
Okay,
task
yeah,
force.
We
we-
sent that.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
I want to note
Okay,
that
can I
the
talk a little
Landscape
bit about the
holiday
meeting on the
parties that
11th?
same
But
night.
what's the joint meeting with the,
That's to present the historical water usage data.
okay, and that's just, we're just gonna take in data?
We're gonna take in data, and there'll be a time for questions.
Oh, and we're gonna talk a little bit about next.
And then we'll talk a little bit about next steps, yeah.
Okay, and you and I are gonna brainstorm on that
Yes.
a little bit,
Yeah.
okay? And then the next meeting on the 11th, can we talk about a little bit?
Yes,
Because this is a case of be careful what you ask for, because DPW is gonna come and make a presentation having to do with a lot of things, right?
Yes,
I
that's
haven't
the
looked
plan.
at all that they're going to present, but that whole process of tree logging
Trees.
and tree
Yeah.
clearing and all
Mhm.
that is gonna be described.
Okay,
Correct.
when you say that,
So-
that whole process, I mean, you mean the work with Eversource, do you mean the stormwater management, what are
No,
you talking about?
what DPW is doing for all of our roads, not just scenic roads, is
Yeah.
that right? Okay.
yeah,
gotcha.
they're
The email
kind
I
of
got
tree
from
management
you
plan.
guys,
This
you
goes
forwarded
back,
it, and there
this
was
goes back to
concern.
their inventory and the canopy
Exactly,
inventory
yes.
right away.
So I don't wanna get deep into
Okay,
that
all
discussion, but I will forward to you what Chris Houston had sent to me from DPW,
That would
having to
be
do
very
with their
helpful.
plan. So you
Yeah.
can prep a little bit for that
Okay,
meeting rather than trying to
thank you.
take it all in,
Right,
is my point on the 11th.
thank you.
And
Are we supposed to just take it all in and say thank you, or are we supposed to have discussions at that meeting?
we're supposed to have discussions,
Okay.
so I'm not
They will
saying
welcome
he's,
our feedback we have.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So,
How long do they have? Sounds like it might
How
be the
long do we
entire
allow?
meeting.
I've
I think
booked
it's
it for
gonna
like
be
at
pretty
least an hour,
substantial.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a substantial discussion.
I would hope so,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Good.
And I would like to partner with them in the tree bylaw effort too.
Yes.
So I'd like
Yes.
for them to be, for us to think of them as partners.
Have we
And
invited
we'll-
the TAG group to attend?
Tag has been invited to attend.
Yeah, to the,
Specifically?
it's a tree night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but it's a
yeah.
specific invite.
So I'd like.
they've been included on the emails as
As
well.
much
too.
as we could, I'd like to make it a tree kumbaya night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I talked a little bit before in an email, but the conversation I'd like to have around the tree bylaw is not necessarily to try to detail anything about the tree bylaw, but talk about like what would be the process
Mm-hmm,
to
sure,
putting a tree bylaw proposal in place.
right.
Is
And
that fair?
yeah, that's
Okay.
definitely fair, yeah.
That's good. And then, so Chris will be there, and Tom will be there, and you guys can decide amongst
Mhm.
yourselves who wants to raise their hand and participate in such a thing. And,
Well, we all will.
right, exactly, which would be fine. I'm not sure there's that many more people besides TAG and maybe the selectmen
Well,
and
the other,
DPW.
yeah, I might wanna let the Western Trails know, let
Yeah,
Tom
exactly,
know.
exactly.
I don't know, is there anybody else you can think of, Sue or Steve, or?
There are other, well, I don't like to bandy about the sustainability thing, but there are other groups in town who certainly are concerned about,
I think it wouldn't hurt to basically put that down as a topic of the night, whether you wanna put a banner across the town website or just specifically invite people, I don't know.
I think the town, like we're doing the survey of the town on transportation, you guys had great feedback. That sort of thing for the tree bylaw, seems like it would make sense.
A lot of people who would be very interested in
Yeah.
Yeah,
what our
so-
DPW is doing and
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
what the input is from the
exactly.
town.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, that meeting on 12/11, that's when we start at 7 o'clock. That's when
Ooh.
we're officially
Goody.
moving our.
I was here at
Dave.
7 this night to practice these.
You're gonna be
So-
okay?
It wasn't that I forgot and didn't get the
No,
memo.
heaven forbid.
No, you
So
did.
can I just go back to the water thing for a second?
Yes.
What I have in my calendar is different from yours. I have on the 10th a joint meeting with the selectmen, which I presume is to present the water master plan, because it says water master plan.
Oh, okay,
And I
yeah.
have water historical usage presentation
Mm,
during our meeting.
no.
No, okay, yeah.
It's all on the 10th, right?
So what is,
What?
There is
I
no
have that on
master
the
plan.
11th. Water historical usage presentation, where's,
That, I don't know why that's there. That's odd. But that is,
So-
that shouldn't
It's
be.
the old fashioned.
so the water historical
Oh,
usage.
yeah, this is this was from you.
Really?
You know,
Okay,
because
did
it
I?
was one that we RSVP'd.
How come I get some invites from
Joint
Steve, by the way?
meeting with select.
Weird. Do you?
Okay, so yeah, take off 12/11. I'm not sure why a 12/11 sent out.
Okay, but is the 10th about water historical usage, or is it the water master plan?
It's the water historical usage,
Usage.
which is the first step in coming up with the
Okay.
water master plan. That's what that
Okay.
was the first step in that effort.
All right, so
Okay.
that was a little early,
Okay, yeah.
but it shouldn't have been.
When do I get some invites from Steve that should be coming
I
from?
know, I get them from Alicia, and I don't know
Oh, really?
what's going on, yeah, and other people, so. I
Oh,
don't-
that's odd, but they're all coming from you, right?
They all should
Not
originate
coming
from
from
me.
me.
They all
I
should
get a lot of
originate from me. I don't know if like you say yes
So
on
maybe your
Gmail
system
and
is set up to forward it.
it forwards, yeah, to other people.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if
Okay.
like Gmail does that or is
because I've been thinking like Steve's been busy. He's doing nice work for him.
So, tell me something, going back to DPW, are they giving us an agenda? Because I'd like to make sure, for instance, that log we talked about this.
No, I'm gonna forward to you what Chris sent to me, and that will
Okay,
give you basically a sense of.
so
the
somewhere,
agenda.
but I'm just saying, can we put on the DPW agenda, maybe it's not
Yeah,
this
the
time
what,
around?
yeah, no, the what?
The log for the inspection of,
Oh, yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
describe their process. You'll see in the email.
right, but this is different. Today on Ridgeway Road, we talked about the inspection of dry wells, and we said we didn't know whether or not
Oh,
this
that
not
kind
to-
of thing, yeah,
So-
okay.
so-
So, yeah, as long as they're here,
Yeah.
let's bring
That's
them
what
up.
we said at the
Because
meeting,
this-
so.
This
That's-
has been a
that's a job,
continuous
yeah,
problem,
true.
where they have a lot of culverts that they're supposed to
Right.
maintain,
Good answer,
and
yeah.
that they don't maintain.
Right.
Okay.
And where can people go?
So,
Right.
Imai, can you brief Tom on that and
Yep.
have him come prepared to
Yep, I'm gonna,
To just.
Or we have
Another-
we have another,
kumbaya discussion?
Wait,
yeah, I'm
on
arranging a meeting
culverts.
with Tom. I have some time to talk with him before this
Yeah.
is set up, so. Okay?
Great.
All right, long-range plans and initiatives, I thank you all for commenting on, our latest survey draft, that's now with
That's cool,
our
I'm looking forward
consultants
to it.
to go out. The
How many
sign,
people do you think will fill that out? What's our goal?
What's the average of a?
I'm hoping we get as good as like Council on Aging did, and I think they did a town-wide mailer, and they got something in the neighborhood of like 30% or something like that.
That's
Which was,
high.
what was the number? You mean of adults or what?
Oh, yeah, I
We've got
don't,
drivers, right?
yeah, I don't know what the
Well, Council
overall.
on Aging wouldn't have kids, right?
No, who wouldn't?
So
You
they
never
got
know.
what, 1,000? What are you thinking? They got
I've
1,000
forget-
responses back or more?
not sure,
no, probably 300.
not sure.
Oh, you think it
Yeah,
was
30% sounds like a huge number.
It was a lot,
Is that
I think it was a
30 or
surprising amount. It was-
Huh.
Said 30.
We took out the incentive. You guys
Yeah,
agree with that?
Huh?
We
yeah, I
took
do,
out
I
the
agree with
That-
taking
that
out the
little
incentive.
thing
What
about-
was the incentive?
I don't know. It
We
was like
didn't
a
have one
$5
yet, we were
Starbucks.
gonna try and work out one, but it,
Like a Starbucks card or what?
Oh, God,
I was
that's
gonna be
a-
something like that.
Free entrance to a planning board meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front
So,
seat,
free exit.
Right.
preferred
Yeah,
seating.
exactly. They
Yeah.
have front row seat.
That would be a distance thing to it.
Right, exactly. You don't have to attend. No,
Yeah.
free permit, that's what.
Yeah,
it is.
site plan approval, one
Site
free
plan.
site plan approval.
Exactly. All right, so no one likes the incentive, just like.
Signs, we're gonna start our, internal kickoff meeting on that on the 5th.
Great.
Other than tree bylaw, we just said we're discussing on the 11th. Nothing to talk about with admin approvals.
Oh, people, one more thought on transportation. Did people read Boston Globe the last 3 days?
Oh, yes, oh my God.
On traffic?
Haven't
Yes,
read
it's
it
all
yet, but I've seen
very-
Was it? Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's really quite fascinating.
Yeah, right, it's
Yeah.
good, very timely for the work that we've
We'll have
done.
to
in
go
the
around the
Well,
last year.
as I thought the most revealing thing today was the very large number of people who would like to move. Who, after
just
all
fed
the
up with
money,
traffic.
right, after
Yeah.
all the money spent to recruit and get these people,
here.
Once they're
they
here.
are so fed up with that, that they're,
Right,
would
They're gonna be
willingly leave.
Wow.
So it would be an interesting, I mean, we've seen the enemy and he is us.
Yes, exactly.
right.
And we've now overgrown or outgrown completely our transit system, and we're in
Right.
the worst gridlock
It's
in the
beat up.
world.
Oh, worse than
That's what they
Honolulu?
say, I'm
That's
not
what
sure.
they say, they say it's the worst in the world.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I do.
No, if you've
It
been
was
to the-
bad back in 2000.
You've been to LA.
Yeah, I was
You can't go
gonna
anywhere.
say, it's just,
LA anytime.
it's,
Honolulu
it's
is
the way
supposed
they
to be the worst.
calculate these
Exactly.
things. And
Maybe the worst commute,
Yeah.
maybe the worst commute, but not during the day,
I don't
LA's
know.
always red.
If you go to any big city, at least it's,
Yeah, Atlanta's
it's pretty
terrible.
bad, yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
terrible.
I
You
don't
can't
buy
get
it.
around
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
But we've got
Okay.
ideas.
And the incentives that corporations, I mean, they have, you know, anyway, it was fascinating.
They
If you haven't read
incentivize
this,
them to drive.
you really need to read it.
Anybody, is there anything else?
So, okay, yes, we went over the plans. So Case Estates, last time this was brought up, so this is what I found out about Case Estates. So the stockpiling is by N-Grid and the DPW and Selectmen and also some of the legacy trails. They did get the complaint about storage on the porch and they've addressed that.
But they've taken down all the fences to keep everybody away from the
houses?
Houses, I believe. Last time I looked, I thought there were no fences protecting
Okay,
the
that
houses.
I didn't talk about with
Okay.
anybody. The area that they're working on isn't conservation land. The plan to restore it is to be loaned and seeded at the end. If we have further complaints, Leon said we can talk with him about it.
We should, because the other thing I've heard is what that's really happening is they're compacting it, and once you compact soil, you never get it to come back, and throwing some seed on it. doesn't
Okay,
really
so
do
yeah,
it.
that
there's
was
a
their
whole-
response to the
Yeah,
compaction
and
idea.
it's a non-responsive response.
Okay, so can you email me the concern and I can
Okay.
get it to Leon?
Sure, happy
Okay.
to do so.
Okay, awesome. I think nothing really new has happened on either of the 40Bs since we last
Didn't we
met.
have something, oh no, what happened to the ZBA yesterday?
Oh yeah, the ZBA
Hidden Road,
yesterday,
is that what it was?
60 Old Road.
Old Road, yeah.
Yeah, so the ZBA declined to hear that because the enforcement order appeal is still pending, and they want that settled or dismissed or something before they act on their current application.
Can you tell me what 60 Old Road is? This
Yeah.
is new stuff to me.
Is that the house we saw?
Yeah,
The house.
it was a house we did
They were
site plan.
pinging back and forth,
Can I
like
get
ping
one
ponging.
answer
picture
here?
ago.
Sorry, you guys are all talking
Remember,
over
it's
each other.
down in the,
Can I get, I'm not catching this.
okay.
Okay.
It was the French couple that had the clear-cut property that.
Oh, yeah.
Pigeon
They
Road.
were
Oh, right,
pinging
okay,
back
okay,
and forth,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
ZBA.
So, what did the ZBA do?
The ZBA declined to hear it because
There's an appeal standing,
the appeal is still active.
yeah.
And this gets into a little bit of the legal.
So they
stuff.
needed to release their appeal.
They needed the
That's how
repeal
you say it.
settled somehow before the ZBA.
That's
Who
how
went
was
after the
they
question.
needed the repeal? Which?
ZBA needed the appeal
Okay.
settled.
So they're gonna settle it?
So yeah, so they got, at the
They
end
gotta
of,
write
at
a
the end of some
decision?
argument about it, the lawyers are getting together and discussing
Oh,
how to
okay.
settle up the
I was gonna say,
appeal.
because of these people gonna be put off another.
And then the
6 months.
ZBA is gonna rule on accepting our plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the
So
They
ZBA will
gave no
hear.
hints of whether they'd accept our plan or not.
Yeah, they didn't wanna say like.
Show their cards.
Yeah, we will,
Right.
yes, we will, or no, we won't.
Okay.
Although they did, the applicant's attorneys did try to get them to say they would or wouldn't, but
I see, paying coy,
yeah.
okay.
Now can I ask my question?
Yes, what is your question?
So my question basically is, this is just basically a layout scenario. It's not connected with 40Bs.
60 Old Road?
Right.
No, it's
No,
not.
okay.
Oh, no.
Because it followed on the 40B question, hence my question.
No,
Okay,
it is
never
not.
mind.
It
Right,
is-
yeah.
The
No,
ZBA
I was
triggered me.
confused
All right.
too.
The
Thank you.
ZBA
Thank you.
triggered me, that's why I asked the question.
Exactly.
What's the next step
Segue
on
is for
751?
Very.
751 is having a hearing on the 9th and 10th, and they have extended the deadline to March 23rd.
Yeah,
They had a Concom meeting last night.
yeah, that's gonna happen really fast, that is 3 months,
Yeah.
really fast. There's a lot to go through.
But they have not presented the new engineering plans yet, or have
They
they?
were in the middle of that, I think.
So is that what they're hoping to do in December 9 and
There's
10?
a lot of.
That's what I understand. That's why it's a 2-night meeting, that the updated plans and peer reviews are all supposed to they're supposed to work through that night.
And
those 2
hopefully
nights.
they'll have them posted prior,
I would hope so, yes,
Yeah.
I would hope so, but that's,
because they need to review it.
They promised a
Rob's
week
got his
before.
schedule all cleared and
I
a lot of work
believe
for him
so.
to do.
Okey-dokey.
Great, all right.
And when would you like Leslie and I to get back to you on this memorandum for the Route 30 reconstruction? Do you have a
If-
deadline for that for us?
I'd like to review it then at our next meeting if we can, at the 11th.
Sure. Alrighty.
So if you could just get it to me, before the 11th, like the Monday before, so I have enough time to.
Okay, Leslie and I will.
Sounds good.
All right, are you about done?
Yeah, I'm about done. If we have any committee updates, anybody wanna?
Let's see, sustainability is continue with the MVP process. We did get a letter in, I hope, of
Yep.
support. There is going to be a youth listening session at some point, they're gonna set that up. We recently had the listening session at the library, which went very, very well. They're getting the grant in, if it isn't today, it's gonna be really soon, like the next couple of days. And hopefully we'll get it in there and we'll find out, we'll get money to continue to pursue this.
You okay? Great.
Yeah.
I asked Sue if she could cover a lunch and learn she went to about dark sky lighting. So this will be the last thing, and then
Right, I'm just trying to look, where this was, because I know I sent it to you. I did a little summation. I went to a wonderful,
Where you did on your summer vacation?
yes, what I did on my summer vacation, a wonderful presentation by the Mass.
Association of Planning Directors.
City planners, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that, yeah, that's what they call themselves. Oh, I forgot your little bling.
Oh.
Oh, darn it. Anyway, bling, there was bling involved.
Blinking bling?
Bling, yeah.
Chocolate.
Okay, and this is called Starving for Darkness, How Exterior Lighting Impacts Wildlife, which
Ooh.
was, this woman was just one of the best speakers, of course it was at lunch. And she works for something called Spec Lines. And she had, evidently, they have consulted to the town of Weston. Anyway, very interesting. If I could just, I did a letter, okay?
You did a letter?
Yes, here we go.
To us?
Yes to you, well, no, I
Summary.
just sent it, and it's so much
Oh, okay.
more cohesive than what I've just been yapping about. Okay, brief overview, here we go. All right, Starving for Darkness, How Exterior Lighting Impacts Wildlife. It was by Jane Slade of Spec Line Lighting, presented to those people. Spec Lines worked and consulted in Weston, but I was unable to verify in what capacity that was, but she has worked in many towns in Massachusetts. She spoke about how light pollution actually began in the days of the first electric light bulb, and that the Earth spends more and more time now bathed in artificial light within a full 24-hour cycle. Much has been researched about the effect on humans, but not so much in animals. And animals, insects, plants are all intrinsically photosensitive and cannot easily hide from the effects of stray light. So the question is how to alleviate these harmful effects to all of us. And her main premise, which I actually loved, was that people are not evil or out to intentionally destroy our environment. She thinks that they would readily comply if they just knew what was happening to the world and how easy it is for them personally, repeat, easy it is for them personally to improve things on the earth. Light pollution is actually the easiest of all pollutions to rectify. All it takes is to turn them off. There were no lingering bad effects. There were no chemical pollutants. There's no plastics that exist for centuries, and there are many alternatives now in progress being made in lots of areas in exterior lighting. And she gave a great example, which is Harvard Square in Cambridge just installed light posts that are all wirelessly connected to some central thing, and that they dim their output starting at 10 at night by 30%, and then at midnight they dim it down to 50%. So it's all these little incremental works. So all that while keeping a public corridor safe and beautiful. And also she pointed out, interestingly, when you start to overlight, you create hot spots, which has a very blinding effect on human eyes because our eyes can't accommodate quickly. So, and they can't accommodate as fast as we can walk. So it creates all these blind spots and dangerous areas. You know, you walk right off of a curb and not see it because it's so brilliantly lit on one side. And all of that leads to a call for more lighting. All right? So,
Better light.
better lighting, right, more. So she spoke of all the multiple factors in light pollution, human-made sky glow, glare, light clutter, and that there's light pollution map online, which shows you that one single light can pollute, and I found this hard to believe, 120 miles away. So all animals need a regular rhythm of light and dark. That's how we all evolved. And some 70% of mammals are nocturnal. Lighting disrupts and disorients animals. It affects pollination, feeding, migration. It affects plant growth when they bloom, and yet the pollinators needed for their reproduction are not available due to disruption in their breeding cycles. Deadly algae blooms are caused by the excess light, as microorganisms are very susceptible to light and keep on growing. She gave so many examples of pervasive disruption in our ecosystems from excessive lighting. Okay, one of the things she said, we can make our language less unfriendly sounding. Today you hear words like ecology, sustainability, environmental, and they're off-putting to a lot of members of society. So look at what has worked. Save our turtles. There's the sea turtles, literally, all those laws for lighting on the shore were made because those are cute little things, okay? Or help the monarch butterflies, another one, you know, a plant for them. So pick an emblem that people can identify with and get behind, every one of us, so that they can make a difference. Imai's suggestion was bats, but we were trying to figure out a way to make bats lovable because they really suffer. Anyway,
Back now.
she says, leave a room, turn the light off, pull down the shades to minimize the scatter, and never, ever put an outdoor uplight. And then she went on to say, Flagstaff, Arizona is an excellent example of what can be done. It all started there, back in 1958. In the letter that he'll send around, there's a direct link to them, and it is fascinating. Just immediately go to their residential lighting tips and how they deal with it. And how, remember that they have so much light scatter out there.
Because there are very little trees.
True, and also because where's Palomar? Where are all the big telescopes?
Oh, yeah,
They
the
have so many
observatory.
big telescopes out there that it was imperative that
And
they
everything
not,
kept dark because
that
you
they
couldn't
kept
see.
as dark as they could. Anyway, so interesting, go to the Flagstaff. So that's all I have to say.
Very nice.
She did start in
Right.
1958.
Right, and well, this is a comment from the Flagstaff. As
Roswell,
the International Dark Sky Movement began in Flagstaff in 1958, our community has always been keenly aware of the special value of the night sky. And the Flagstaff Dark Skies Coalition and the greater community of Flagstaff are proud to remain the world's leader in practical and successful dark sky protection. And
Bravo.
yeah, it was just great.
It's fun.
And I have like 90 more things I could tell you about because she was that interesting. I asked her at the end if she speaks to groups, and she
Yeah.
said yes.
Oh, have her
She
down.
said it's all about education.
Let's get her down
She
to
could
council
come and
meeting.
present to us, maybe? or-
Yes.
Let's do a bigger venue
Big,
than
a
that.
bigger
Right.
event, because she said people are not intrinsically evil, they're not trying to do this.
You know, it'd be nice if the planning board could sponsor speak talks like this over at the library, the council on
Oh,
aging,
or at the Arts and Innovation
Arts and
Yeah.
Innovation.
I
So
like
if we
that
could
idea.
sponsor
Yeah.
them.
I like the
Right.
planning board
It's
lecture
one
series, that's a
thing.
good idea.
Well,
Let the planning board lecture you.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
maybe we do that too much already.
Okay, so the name needs work.
Anyway, this was a wonderful event, and
think
so. No, I
evidently they give wonderful events all the time.
Communities
And
here.
I'm sorry that he
Community
had to
outreach.
pay with his appendix,
Yeah,
but I
I
had
think
a
it's
great
super,
time.
I really do, and I think we should
Yeah.
take a look at sponsoring it, so.
Like tree
the
stuff,
town
people
can
wanna
look
know
at it.
about tree
Yeah.
stuff, whatever is used as
Anyway.
input for the
Well,
tree
we had
guidelines.
some wonderful people at the tree stewardship
So if you can,
seminar,
is she
which I'd love
local?
to have come and talk.
Yeah, she,
Sandwich.
So we could trigger that, we could try to do something at Art now.
yep, this is her.
Because that, everybody
I think
wants
I've got a
things.
bunch of these cards,
Because,
and
Yvonne,
she's just
there are a bunch of people at
terrific
the
speaker.
tree stewards program, which would be wonderful speakers.
And very
Okay.
enthusiastic.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
Yeah, let's come up with
It's
some, I
not
think that's a
something
great
to talk
idea.
about, it's too late.
Even if
right,
it's
you
fine.
do it every day,
It's instant.
right.
It's late, is it time?
It is
Very
time,
nice.
that's it.
Thank you, Sue, I appreciate
All
that.
right.
You're welcome.
I move
It
that
was
we,
my pleasure.
say sayonara for the night.
Thank
I
you.
second.
All approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.